General Assimi Goïta, a name now tied to Mali's turbulent political scene, embodies the hopes of a nation determined to take control of its own destiny. Goïta's rise was marked by two daring military coups that shocked the country. It was totally unexpected. In August 2020, he overthrew the democratically elected government of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. This bold move pushed Goïta into the spotlight. In May 2021, he orchestrated a second coup, removing the transitional government. This second coup cemented his position as the undisputed leader of Mali. His actions resonated with some of the population who were disappointed with the previous government's perceived failures. It was a real letdown for them. Goïta became a symbol of hope for many people. His supporters see him as a strong leader, capable of restoring order and stability, like a skilled coach coming in to fix a team. His critics, on the other hand, see him as an obstacle to democracy, like an unfair penalty in the final minutes of a game. Goïta defends his actions as necessary to save Mali and implement essential reforms. He says it's like a much-needed administrative overhaul. He positions himself as a patriotic reformer, determined to chart a new course for Mali. Recognizing the strategic importance of Mali's vast mineral wealth, Goïta has made the mining sector a central point of his economic program. Gold, in particular, is a major source of income for the country, and Goïta aims to ensure that Malians benefit more directly from the mining of this precious resource. For years, the mining sector has been dominated by foreign companies, and a significant portion of the profits leaves the country. Goïta seeks to change this dynamic by increasing state control over the industry and renegotiating contracts to obtain more favorable conditions for Mali. At the heart of Goïta's mining sector reforms is the desire to increase transparency and accountability. He has promised to crack down on illegal mining, which not only deprives the state of essential revenue, but also has devastating environmental and social consequences. Goïta has also committed to improving working conditions in the mines and ensuring that mining communities receive a fair share of the benefits from resource extraction. To achieve these goals, Goïta has implemented a series of policy changes, including the creation of a new state-owned mining company and revising the mining code to give the government greater bargaining power with foreign investors. Goïta's efforts seek to assert greater national control over Mali's resources and a better redistribution of its economic benefits to the Malian people. Goïta's mining sector reforms are a risky gamble. If successful, they could transform Mali's economy and provide the government with the resources needed to address the urgent social and development challenges. Part 4. Cultivating change, Goïta's agricultural initiatives. Besides gold mines, Goïta also recognized how important farming is for Mali's economy and for the livelihoods of its people. With a large part of the population working in agriculture, Goïta made agricultural development a key part of his plan to achieve food security and make Mali less reliant on imports. He launched a series of initiatives designed to modernize the agricultural sector, boost productivity, and improve the lives of farmers. One of Goïta's main agricultural initiatives was a program to give farmers access to better seeds, fertilizers, and modern farming techniques. By increasing productivity and improving the quality of harvests, Goïta aims to make Malian agriculture more competitive and reduce the country's reliance on expensive food imports. This emphasis on self-sufficiency, a recurring theme in Goïta's speeches, is seen as essential to strengthening Mali's economic independence and resilience. In addition to providing material support to farmers, Goïta has also focused on improving rural infrastructure. Recognizing that poor roads, a lack of storage facilities, and limited access to markets have long hampered the growth of Mali's agricultural sector, Goïta has made significant investments in modernizing transportation networks, building new warehouses, and making it easier for farmers to get loans. These efforts aim to create a better environment for agricultural businesses to grow and ensure that farmers receive fair prices for their products. Goïta's agricultural initiatives have been widely praised, even by some of his critics. The focus on empowering farmers, improving food security, and increasing rural incomes is seen as a step in the right direction for a country struggling with poverty and food insecurity. However, the real test of these initiatives will be their long-term impact. It remains to be seen whether Goïta will be able to sustain these efforts and whether they will result in lasting improvements in the lives of Malian farmers. Part 5. Fighting corruption. Goïta's quest for transparency. Corruption, a deep-rooted problem that has plagued Mali for decades, has been one of the main targets of Goïta's reform program. He has repeatedly denounced corruption as a cancer that harms the country's development and erodes public trust in government institutions. Goïta has vowed to eradicate corruption at all levels of government and create a more transparent and accountable system. To fight corruption, Goïta has implemented a series of measures, including the creation of a new anti-corruption agency with greater powers to investigate and prosecute corrupt officials. He has also introduced stricter financial disclosure requirements for public officials and launched a public awareness campaign to educate citizens about the harmful effects of corruption. Goïta's anti-corruption campaign has been met with cautious optimism. While many Malians applaud his commitment to tackling this widespread problem, they also recognize that changing deep-rooted patterns of behavior will be an uphill battle. Despite the challenges, Goïta's anti-corruption efforts represent a significant step forward in a country where impunity has long been the norm. If he can demonstrate a genuine and sustained commitment to transparency and accountability, it could mark a turning point in Mali's fight against corruption. However, if Goïta's anti-corruption campaign is perceived as selective or politically motivated, it risks further undermining public trust and damaging his own legitimacy. In this chapter, we'll explore General Assimi Goïta's tireless fight against neo-colonialism, his efforts to regain Mali's independence, and his bold stance against foreign interference have marked a significant turning point in the country's political landscape. Goïta's policies and actions have not only challenged the status quo, but also inspired a new wave of nationalism among the Malian people. From the beginning of his leadership, Goïta made it clear that Mali would no longer be a pawn in the hands of foreign powers. He launched a series of diplomatic maneuvers to reduce dependence on former colonizers and sought to diversify Mali's international partnerships. This included strengthening ties with other African nations and exploring new partnerships beyond the traditional Western sphere of influence. One of his most notable actions has been his willingness to renegotiate existing mining contracts. He argued that these agreements were heavily biased in favor of foreign companies, depriving Mali of its fair share of natural resource wealth. By demanding fairer terms, Goïta sought to ensure that the country's rich mineral deposits benefited the Malian people, instead of lining the pockets of foreign corporations. Furthermore, the Goïta government took a firm stance against the foreign military presence in Mali. He questioned the effectiveness of international forces in combating terrorism and emphasized the need for Mali to develop its own robust security apparatus. This decision was seen as a bold assertion of sovereignty, resonating deeply with a population increasingly skeptical of foreign interventions. Goïta's campaign against neo-colonialism is not without controversy. Critics argue that his confrontational approach could isolate Mali on the world stage and potentially jeopardize international aid and investment. However, for many Malians, Goïta's stance represents a long-awaited affirmation of national pride and independence. With his actions, Goïta has painted a picture of a truly independent Mali, a country charting its own course, free from the shadow of its former colonial masters. Time will tell if his ambitious vision will fully materialize, but there's no doubt that Goïta's fight against neo-colonialism has already left an indelible mark on the country's history.